50 Cent did an interview a while back, and you posted this clip of this interview on your IG where he says that Preem lived how he actually projected. You know, what was your thoughts when you first seen that clip?
He spoke the truth. He spoke the truth. What he was trying to say was that, say what you will about Preem, and notwithstanding my feelings for him, the man was a mirror image of what he projected. The way he showed himself is what he really was. And you got to give a man props who can say something like that. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, nowadays, dudes are so phony. People are so phony that they don't speak the truth unless it's beneficial to them, or they don't speak the truth unless it's just so much phoniness today that nobody's keeping it real. So at least what he said, that to me, that was real, and that's why I put it on my gram, because it was real. And there's a difference between certain people. One thing about Preem is when he says something, he's not going to get out there. Preem will never get out there and say something that ain't true, or something he don't feel, or something that's not real to him. When we speak, we don't waste our words. We don't mince our words. We don't try to, like me, myself, I don't really care how nobody think about what I say. You're going to get the truth out of me whether you like it or not. And if it offends somebody, so be it. If it doesn't offend somebody, so be it. We're going to be as authentic as we can, because that's all we know how to be, is authentic. So I applaud what he said, you know what I'm saying, because he spoke the truth. One thing about Preem, you're going to get from him exactly what he is. So, you know.
You mentioned being in there with John Gotti. Was there anybody else you were locked up that was famous?
Yeah, I was locked up with a whole bunch of people. Vic Amuso, Joey Molina. We was together in Beaumont. Man, I was with everybody and anybody who got locked up in MCC between the year 1992 to 1995. Every mob boss, every black hustler, you name them, I was in there with them. Every last one of them. I was also with, in USP Coleman, I was with Carmine Persico, right? You know who that is?
Yes, that was.
Yeah, you look like you didn't know who that was.
I'm thinking, man, that was the boss of the Columbos, right?
Right. He was with me in USP Lompoc at the time when it was a USP. It's a FCI now, right? I was with my man. He just got out a little while ago. I forgot his name. Damn, I wish I remembered his name. I don't remember his name, but he just got out a little while ago. Italian. He was with me in the USP Allenwood and whatnot. Yeah, he got out. I forgot his name though. One of the Italians that got out, good dude. Yeah, I've been around almost everybody, man.
And you get sentenced to 7 life sentences plus 20 years, which is a crazy sentence for someone who didn't get convicted of anything violent. You know, what was your thoughts, and what was that like?
Well, I remember we got sentenced, and I remember when we blew trial, and it was some of my co-defendants had family in the courtroom when we blew trial, and when they heard that we blew trial, some of them was crying, and some of them, they was there when we blew trial, when we found guilty. I had to tell them to be quiet, y'all, chill. I didn't want them to show that kind of emotion, because I didn't want nobody else to feel it sitting there. I love my co-defendants that stood with me, that went to trial with me, and I always want to put a strong face on. know what I'm saying? We can always go back to our cell. I used to tell them in the bullpen, we can go back to our cell and show emotions, but when we out there, we ain't gonna show no emotions when they pronounce whether we guilty or not guilty. And so, but you can't tell people's family really how to show their emotion, you know. But when we got sentenced individually. And I went to court that day, and I made sure that my parents wasn't in court for the sentencing, because I knew it would be life. And, you know, I spoke to the judge at the sentencing, you know, and he wanted me to show more remorse. Like, we wanted me to say what I'm guilty of or whatever, I guess, because he mentioned the fact that I didn't speak about remorse. But he has to understand that they use illegal wiretaps in my case. The state ruled that they were illegal through my co-defendant's case, and the police used them, and they denied every hearing I had. And I felt at the time that it was a little unfair. I'm not saying I wasn't guilty, but the way in which you pursued me was not legal, and you lose illegal ways to get me. It was the ends justifying the means. Sure, I was a drug dealer. Sure, I was guilty, but you didn't get me legally the way you should have gotten me. So I was a little upset about that. And so, you know, I spoke to the judge, but I was respectful, and I did have remorse. It's just not the way in which he wanted me to show it. You know what I'm saying? But I did have remorse. You know what I mean, and whatnot. I felt that, you know, I was wrong for selling drugs. I felt, you know, I was wrong for a few things, but I was focused on watch my appeal. When you got an appeal pending, you have to watch what you say, because what you say could be used against you when you got an appeal. So you got to watch what you say at sentencing. You know what I mean?
I hear that for sure, man. Okay, so at one point after you get arrested, you get charged with a triple homicide, but you beat it?
Yeah, I got charged with a triple homicide in the state. I was in jail, and they claimed that I ordered some Colombians to be killed, right? They had one witness to claim that I did this. They had one witness, dude, I forgot his name. He's so unimportant to me. But this one witness said that I told him to do this thing or whatever, which was not true. And we proved it wasn't true because he said I called at a certain time. At the time he said I called, there was a wiretap, but there's no call. There's no call on this phone showing that I ordered this to be done. So he said I called a certain house in Baisley Projects, apartment 1H, 116-80 Guy Brewer Boulevard, apartment 1H. And they said that I called at that time and told him to do this, but there was no proof because there was a wiretap there and there was no conversation there. So it couldn't have been true. And so that swayed the jury to see, oh, this guy's telling a lie. And so then they used another rat to try to say I took him around and showed him places where people were. It was just incredible. The jury 12 jurors found me not guilty of that crime. Then I went to federal court, and 12 jurors in federal court found me not guilty as well. You know, and that alone, when the Supreme Team series come out, people will see for themselves the real about that, the truth, and they'll understand what happened. And that's going to be epic, because then you'll finally get to see what happened. You got to be careful with these rats and these informants, you know, because they'll put crimes on you that they do just to get around their cases. And the government don't care. They'll use them to get you locked up as long as they tell them the story the way they want it to be told, you know.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon, so hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.